Welcome to the Beauties Podcast, where we talk about everything you need to know about women's sports. From the grassroots to the pros, we got it all. Today on the show, we talk about the WNBA semifinals, the World Hockey Championship, and the legendary career of Serena Williams. Here are your hosts, Addie and Cowie.
We've got women's world hockey going on in Denmark. We've got the WNBA playoffs, US Open, and the LPGA finishing up Dana Open. This is a wild time in women's sports. So welcome everybody to the Beauties Sports Desk. We're excited to have you here. Cowie, how are you doing today?
I'm good. That's what we were saying. It's so nice to be able to, we've got hockey on in the background. WNBA makes it so easy for us to play it on our phone. So we've got that on the desk here with us. We can play sports. It's fun to be having sports that accessible and then just get to hang out and talk about it. How are you?
Good. Lots of, and that's why I wanted to start off the show today talking about today, right now, as we sit at the Beauty Sports Desk, we can literally be watching 4 different
live events.
Yeah. That's pretty fantastic.
Without having to pretend we're in a different country or anything. We can literally just turn them on.
We can just turn it on and watch. And not just like whatever events. We've got the championship game going on for Women's World, Canada, USA. Obviously always one of the best games of the year. Yep. Canada winning it last year, looking to defend, but loses in the round robin. Wild.
Yeah, that was a wild game. It's because it's in Denmark, all the games are happening for us either morning or mid-afternoon, it seems. And so I was working and I had it on in the background and we were up 2-0. Canada was up by I mean Canada. Canada was up 2-0. And so I thought, okay, and then I had a meeting and then I kind of, logged off or turned it off and wasn't paying attention. And then saw on Instagram later that day that Canada had lost 5-2. And so that was a shocker to me. I did record it. And then now we're just going to get to see the rematch of what the hell happened last time and see if Canada turns it around or if USA takes another W.
Yeah, because they've got such an interesting history when it comes to the women's world because USA has been dominant in the world for a really, really long time. Yeah. And we're seeing some players that weren't a part of the Olympics coming back and now being a part of the Worlds, and Megan Mickelson and Victoria Bach. And, so it's interesting to see the difference between the rosters between the Olympics and the Worlds too. But when it came to that game specifically, Canada, US taking it 5-2. Yeah. The two programs are going to be relentless, right? Like they're always going to go to the very end. But I found it to just be one of those games where it was like ramming around the crease. Like we're just ramming around in here and hopefully going to find an opening. There was definitely some nice goals, but even, USA's first goal coming across the top of the crease. I was telling you about this because I laughed. It's like, let's just call it what it is. Like if it's a duster goal, like it happens everywhere. Dusty goals happen. It doesn't matter, right? But Keller comes across the top, muffins it, goes off his skate, and the commentator's like, what a rocket! It's like, no, it wasn't. Yeah. It was like, it's a goal. Goal's a goal, baby. Yeah. Goal's a goal.
I think part of that sometimes we see is because there is this huge push around women's sports, right? And especially as a male commentator, sometimes you almost get this feeling like they don't want to call it what it is because they don't want to be the guy who calls out.
That's right.
And it's like, exactly to your point, this is part of the game.
Yeah. Oh,
this is the reality.
Yeah. 100%.
No one watches back and says, oh, did you see Canada lost 5-2 to the US and Keller's goal was an absolute muff?
Yeah.
No one does that.
Nobody.
No one does that. So just call it what it is.
Yeah. Spade is spade. Like a goal's a goal. Went in.
100%.
Sally just as hard, but let's just do the damn thing. Let's just say what it is.
It's my same comments of when people don't pull goalies. And it's like, no one cares if you lose 2-1 or 8-1. It's still a loss. So do everything in your power to try and win.
Yeah.
Pull your goalie. Pull your goalie.
Pull your goalie. Let's go. I couldn't agree more. And it shows the players on the bench you want to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're like, no, we're not going to do it. It's like, well, you're not doing everything in your power to win then.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the pulling the goalie is an interesting conversation because there's a lot of people that have different perspectives on how it should be done.
Yeah.
And like if you nerd out on it a little bit, like the percentage in which you should be pulling your goalie and stuff like that. I'm like, let's go. Use the intensity and the momentum of the game.
When your gut says pull the goalie, that's when you pull the goalie.
Yeah, totally. Not being like in a calculator, 11% of shut up. Pull your goalie. Let's move on. Goalies like it too. Like it's intense.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's wicked.
You're
so
engaged in the game.
And there's been a couple of other really key things. If you're actually watching us on YouTube right now, you're going to see us do a lot of looking over to the right because the game is actually happening as we speak. So Abby Rourke just got the penalty. Canada's on a power play and they're actually doing pretty decent right now. So not saying that they wouldn't, but they're just doing great. I was gonna say. Call me out on actually. They have a good power play.
Canada is doing great on the power play.
Just a jerk. They're going to Oz power play. But yeah, so Hillary Knight.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
God, what a career, man.
And
what a career for her. She ends up being the most points in world's history.
Yeah.
Passing Wick and Jana Hefford.
Yeah. Which is, and you wonder when, so that's the interesting part about seeing these rosters, right? We've got Hillary Knight and Marie-Philippe Poulin, who have been around since that 2010 games in Vancouver. Mm-hmm. So they're, we talked last week with Michelle Sung on prime basketball age. What's prime hockey age for these gals?
Yeah.
Right? Like she's still, and MPP too. They're at the top of their games.
Absolutely.
And they've been around for the longest on the team, and her efforts, just to see her get that kind of an accolade for all of her hard work. Because like you say, the USA hasn't had a really strong run when it comes to Olympic gold medals. Mm-hmm. But the Worlds, they've owned the stage.
Dominated.
Yeah.
Dominated. And you're passing two women there, because that was just the two that are closest to her on the leaderboard, in Haley Wickenheiser and Jana Hefford. Like, you're not passing little people, you're passing monumental
names in women's hockey.
Names in the game, and names that are really trying to continue the sport. Like Jana Hefford was on before in the pregame show talking about the PWHPA and everything that they have going and how excited they are for this upcoming year. And the one thing that I thought was really cool that they did is, because obviously everyone's watching Worlds right now, is putting their team beside where they play, right? So like they're in the PWHPA. Okay, they announced them as a PWHPA athlete, their team, Adidas team, Sonnet team, whatever, from their different regions, and they're putting it on the screen beside their name. Like, that's a huge thing.
Well, and it's take the stage when you have it. And that's the only criticism we had today, was that, we've talked about before for Worlds or Olympics or anytime there's these big events for specifically for women's hockey.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't happen enough to use your stage. And so we could have had an opportunity for Jana to sit there and make a really cool announcement about the PWHPA. But just a teaser that it's coming out next week.
Just a quick little teaser that you'll hear more.
Yeah, you'll hear more next week when not all eyes are on this game. So interesting strategy in that perspective. We look forward to hearing whatever it is they have to say next week. But maybe it would have been a great opportunity with all eyes on this game to share it now. But
and talking about it, talking about the PWHPA in such a big way. You've got the commissioner there to announce everything and keep everybody up to date, because one of the reasons why World is so cool is because then you're setting the stage for the next thing. Show us where these women are going to be now.
That's right. Yeah.
Where are they going to be now? Right? There's a lot of PHF stuff going on for, obviously their seasons are starting. They're signing a bunch of people, new franchise.
Did you see their logo?
The Force, baby.
I know.
The Montreal Force.
I thought that was such a cool an ode to that province.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very cool. They took the fleur-de-lis and they changed the shape of it into an F, but it was you could instantly distinguish that was what they were intending to do before they showed that morphing of it.
Yeah.
It was, visibly recognizable that was what it was supposed to represent. And I think it turned out cool. Their color choice was interesting to me. Yes,
because I agree with you in the logo. I thought it was very well done and it connects the team to Quebec like right away.
Yeah, hugely.
But the
color is odd, isn't it? A bit like it's kind of a reddy maroony color.
Yeah, like I thought it would be cool if they went like the Expos way, like the Montreal Expos way. Yeah. But they went with maroon, which I think is a great color. But I thought that they were going to go
some
more
sort of
Montreal Canadiens, the Expo, like something there. But no, they went maroon.
Even baby blues with the Nordiques, maybe. Never know.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Either way,
that's
paving
true.
their own path with it's kind of a reddy maroon color, but their logo's sick, and they are well on their way to building a pretty solid hockey team.
Yeah. So the only thing that I wanted to look into it a little bit more with the PHF is that they sent out like this Tour de la Force. Mm-hmm. So it was like, I don't know if it was, and I was reading on it and I couldn't tell. So I'm going to figure this out too. And if anybody does know, reach out and let us know what exactly it is. But it looked like they're either choosing between 7 locations in Quebec to be their home rink.
No, I think they're actually touring across those 7. That was what I understood from that. Is that they're not going to have, in year 1 anyways, it doesn't sound like they're going to have like a one hub home.
Okay, so that's what I mean. Yeah. Like they're
literally
going to each one to see what is going to be their home rink
for
the following year.
Yeah, I think so.
Because I didn't know if it was just like a preseason tour.
Yeah, to get some publicity to it. Yeah, well, maybe we should clarify that.
That's what I mean. Like, I would love to actually know if it was if this is, because that would be cool.
A tour of these publicity spin almost. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
7, do a 7 tour thing, but so each team that they're going to play against is going to travel to a different location.
I guess so.
For the first 7 or
don't know.
So that's where I'm like,
because they did
PHF reach out, because it would be really, I think it's a phenomenal idea. Like I want everybody to know about it and to understand what it's all about, because it's going to connect the province. It's going to be really cool. But is this a bid for your home rink, or is this just a way for people in Quebec to be able to watch hockey?
Yeah, good
more
question.
Consistently,
really,
right?
Yeah, really good question. Well, because they did post it, but obviously a little bit left up to interpretation on that one. So
yeah, that would have been fun for all those girls to do a big photo shoot and everything there. Hey,
I know, it looked so fun.
Yeah.
So check them out if you want to see what Addie and I are talking about with their logo and things. They're La Force Montreal, LA Force Montreal on Instagram, and they did a really nice kind of reveal of their logo and stuff, and I think worth taking a peek.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so back to Worlds for a second, because we have to give a little shout out to our Japan team.
Oh yeah, big dub.
Big W for Team Japan. And the one thing that I did like, obviously we've talked about this a ton, there's a lot of differences between Canada, USA, and these other organizations. Finland is in the top. Sweden. But it's nice to see tighter scores between what would let's consider Group B, like Japan, Hungary, all these other places. They're tighter scores, which means that they are coming around. We saw Delaney Collins go overseas to go coach for Team Hungary, which means more people from these Canada and US are going over to, influence and help these other countries get up to speed, which is very cool and very exciting.
Very much so.
So for Japan to get their first win, I think is unbelievable. And then did you see what they do?
Yeah, how they bow before they leave the ice. I know.
So cool.
I know, so much respect.
So much respect there just for their opponents. And I think that the game, every aspect
officials,
of it.
All of it, yeah.
They turn around and bow.
Yeah, they exit the arena, but before they actually physically step off of the ice, every individual player, and it's not in unison. It's just as they leave the ice, they all bow as they leave, which, culturally, I think is... I also love that they continue to keep their culture and their cultural practices within a hockey game.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Agreed. I think it's fantastic. So we're going to keep everybody up to date here. We got 4 minutes left in the first for the gold medal game. Canada, USA. As of right now, you can tell it's a pretty aggressive game as the shots are 2 USA, 3 Canada. They're just battling.
Yeah, so hopefully you guys, by the time you see this, will know who wins. But hopefully you used part of your September long weekend to watch Canada versus USA.
Oh, so good. So good. And also what's happening right now, which you have up on your phone, is the WNBA playoffs. Chicago versus Connecticut is happening as we speak. Chicago, Connecticut, and Storm, Vegas, both series tied 1-1. And also back-to-back games, which I am thoroughly enjoying. Yeah. Every single one is a double header, which is fantastic.
This is not live anymore.
So Connecticut blew out Chicago. Chicago came back, beat the second game, and now we're into game 3. Both series are a best of 5 in the semis, which is great. So today won't be the end all be all of either of them, but it definitely will put one of them, which I'm hoping Chicago Sky turns up to play, puts them in a really good position to, close the door on it, right?
Yeah. Well, we were all, as we sat here last week, you were a little surprised at some of the results, right? And so everything's knotted back up. So we're essentially now in a best of 3 series. Yeah. And we'll see whoever takes these today. I just love the app.
Yeah, the app is the best. The app... And the league
pass, but it's like, it is so good.
It is unbelievable. And it's like, click, games on your phone. Yeah. Done. It's over and it's great quality. It's awesome. So, and with having them back to back, like you just know that you're going to be able to watch basketball today. And like, even like with all the things that we mentioned, there's so much to be watching right now. It's awesome.
Yeah. And I also like the back-to-back. It has the feel of what we see from like NFL Sundays, right?
Right.
Or all those, or Thursday nights or Monday Night Football, where you plan with your buddies to sit on the couch and bring nachos and watch WNBA.
Yep.
Bing, bang. Like, right. That's your day. Yep. I love that feel.
Yeah, absolutely. So they make it super easy, super accessible, affordable to watch these games. So they're in the third quarter right now, the Chicago Connecticut game.
It's in a commercial right now.
I love that. Oh, halftime. Their commercials are great too. But one thing, and we were talking about this before, and we're actually going to play it for you today, is Becky Hammon, it to me like just continues
to raise the bar.
Oh, and as a coach, as we both coached, you realize how important it is to be connected. You realize how important it is to care about each other, and to coach kids. And she's obviously coaching pro athletes, so her conversations would be different than, minor athletes, but to coach kids that sports is not about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
To have a really good conversation of your job is to take care of yourself, but make sure that taking care of yourself and your own personal development and your personal growth is for the betterment of the team.
Yeah. And we heard that from Michelle last week too, right?
Yeah.
She said like, and basketball is hard. In hockey, we take 30-second shifts, a minute long at most shifts, and then you sit down. And so there's a lot more of that revolving door of athletes that are engaged actively in the game. Mm-hmm. Basketball, different story. Soccer, different story, right? You might sit there in soccer for 75 minutes and then go in.
Yeah.
And so, to buy into that team culture, that this game, whatever sport you're playing, is bigger than you, and results come when you buy in that way. I can't wait for you guys to get to hear. Addie's going to play it for you. So it's from Becky Hammond's Instagram. Official Becky Hammond?
Official Becky Hammond.
Official Becky Hammond. And so we're just going to throw this through the microphone so that you all can hear the messaging that she had for the media about her team.
Our mantra, I gave them an acronym very early on. Trust. The T is talk. The R is remember. The U is unwavering. The S is secure and solid. And the T is together. You got to talk. You got to communicate. You got to rely on that person. Who's the person you call when you're in trouble? There's help side. There's help side for a reason, because you're supposed to be there to help. Then remember what your job is. Remember you've been through battles. Remember how you've persevered. Remember you have resiliency. You have to remember all these things. And then unwavering. You're so sturdy in your convictions and what we're doing offensively and defensively that it doesn't get shook. Secure. Okay? You know that person has your back. You play more freely when you know someone has your back. So we always want to play with somebody having our back. We want to be unwavering in our fortitude, in our aggression. And then T, we do everything together. That's it. They're here together.
And that was the press conference, what a badass.
Yeah. And then just to get up, my team is here together. I'm out. Thank you very much. See you.
See you there. Wow.
Cool.
She's so cool. But to be able to rattle, she just rattled it off.
Yeah,
that's been
in her core, right?
That's who we are. They're here together.
Yeah, I'm out.
All the trust. We know what we got to do. We trust one another, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's there's something so special about her coming back and coaching that team. And I think what Vegas did from top to bottom within that whole hiring, what is going to be groundbreaking, and we're going to look back in 10 years and be like, they actually pushed the pace of what it is, because not only was it a smart decision because she's the right person, she's got history.
Yep.
They supported her financially the way she should be supported financially.
Yep.
Was never a question.
Yep.
And they let her do her damn job. Yeah. They got out of the way and let her do her damn job. And look what's happening. Coach of the year.
Yep.
Even Michelle said, and she just played a little bit more basketball than we have. She believes that they're going to win it this year.
Yeah.
Right? I can't think that way. But it's that is...
It's hard to... And that's the hardcore fan in you. But it is hard to think that the momentum and culture that has been created in Vegas is stoppable.
Oh.
Because you think about the way that her team also hosts or is a part of a press conference in a very similar way to what you just heard from Becky Hammond. They call it out. They've got each other's back.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rest of you are thinking, but she is the best whatever player.
Yeah.
And calling a spade, having each other's back, and then saying, thank you very much. We're going to go back to our family.
Yeah, that's right.
And the whole, there is this huge culture that is being created there. And I think the one cool thing to me is the messaging that Becky Hammond and what you see being created in Vegas is so transferable across sports.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be a basketball coach to identify with that.
That's
and
right.
be like, oh yeah, I'm in.
That's right.
And that is cool.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. 10 years down the road, that's going to be a huge impact, probably beyond basketball.
I can only hope, because you're right. It's the ripple effect.
Yeah.
And even when we hear things about the NWSL selling out games, just regular season games for the San Diego Wave, first year franchise.
22,000 fans. 22,000. Wasn't that what that stadium held? 22,000 fans.
For just a game.
Yeah.
Just
to
watch
season
women's soccer in San Diego.
Yeah.
Sold out.
Cool.
It's like the ripple effect is happening. It's pretty amazing.
Because let's talk about the fact that and we don't need to do comparisons of men's and women's, but the Arizona Coyotes in the NHL.
That's right.
Just created a smaller rink because their rink never filled. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have, I don't know what the numbers are, but half as many or a third of as many fans or potential fans in their new rink than they could have in their last one because they couldn't get the fan support. And we're seeing NWSL games that are really hard to watch on TV selling out 22,000 people in a stadium for a regular season game.
Yeah.
Time to shift.
Time
to shift.
Time is up. Beep, of a button. Because it's just, it's undeniable. And I saw this, I was listening to some guy and he's like, it's great, but it's good to be great, but things get really fun when it's undeniable, right? And it's like, this is now becoming undeniable. You're getting millions of people watching women's hockey on TV. You're getting thousands of people, not only just the NWSL, with also Angel City becoming arguably one of the most coolest ownership groups of all time, ever.
Yeah.
You know, you got Glenn and Doyle and who was that? Jennifer Garner giving out orange slices before a game. Give me a break, right? And it's like you've got amazing things like that happening here. And then overseas, they would laugh at 22,000 people because they're getting 90,000 people.
I know.
Like, it is undeniable.
Yeah, it's very, very, very true. Just checking back in, your Sky are winning right now.
Feels good.
We're back to another commercial.
We're back to the commercials again. Because even when we transfer what, you know, Becky Hammond was saying about all those different things, and then we were talking about, you know, we couldn't even get tickets to a WNBA game.
Yeah.
You couldn't even get tickets to a WNBA game, and they're selling out their arenas as well. It's like, now we transfer that over to women's tennis where...
Oh, I know. People were outside of the stadium because they wanted to be a part of it but couldn't get a seat.
Think about the tennis across the board. Tennis across the board. Doesn't matter who's on the court.
Yeah.
That game 3, had the most ever people in attendance ever.
Yeah.
29,018 or something it was. But it's like ever.
Yeah. How cool was it to watch Serena Williams' daughter?
Makes me emotional.
I know, because this was, for those of you who aren't huge tennis fans, Serena Williams announced her retirement, but then also kind of had some teasers along the way of her U.S. Open journey of the fact that she is being sufficiently vague for a reason, because you never know. But the U.S. Open was where she started her career, and she won in 1999.
That's right.
And she, at the time, had braids and these white beads in her hair. And now she has a little, I think she's 5-year-old daughter who, in her first round matchup at the U.S. Open, looked like a little mini Serena with the white beads in her hair. And I think back to Becky Hammond and just being an individual and unapologetically herself, that is the one thing that Serena Williams has done her entire career, is just been unapologetically Serena.
Yeah.
And we saw that put on a huge stage at the U.S. Open. And like you say, and the fans were there to support it.
Oh, the T-shirt. So you saw Serena Williams' husband. There's a picture of Olympia, her daughter, like with the braids, like you were just mentioning, but like pointing and cheering like so intense, and he got it printed on a T-shirt. And I thought that was so brilliant for him, because he's like, obviously people are going to be looking at me, right? And they support obviously women's athletics to like the 10th degree, but it's like, when I looked at that picture, and that picture is going to mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, because I'm like, this little girl's just out there supporting mom.
Yep.
And really what she's doing is showing people and showing parents, you know, what it is to truly teach your daughter about what it's like to be competitive, because that little girl is going to grow up knowing that there are zero limits to her life.
100%.
There are zero limits just by watching and having conversations that Serena is going to have with her and her parents. It's like, no.
Yeah.
You can do anything you want.
Yeah.
So now imagine that same conversation happening to every single little girl in this world.
Yeah.
You can play anywhere you want to play. You can compete as hard as you want to compete, and you can still be a woman.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Her
it's just...
outfit was incredible. The whole environment was incredible. Her messaging after, where I'm a kid from Compton who made it. You can, exactly what you're saying. Is like, if we foster that, if you guys haven't, we've talked about the movie King Richard. Do yourself a favor and watch that.
That's right.
Because that's what that family, that family, unfortunately, Serena's dad wasn't well enough to be at the U.S. Open, but her mom was there. And that family very clearly has fostered exactly what you're talking about, Serena and her husband fostering in Olympia, is that you can be whatever the heck you dream of.
Yeah.
And
That's
you can look however you want to look while doing it. You know, you want to, like, Serena's hair even had these little jewels, like, I don't know, spark. It was incredible. And then did you see the stadium when they had everyone, like, the countdown, and then they all flipped something and it said, "We love Serena" in the stands?
Come on. No, I didn't, because I would have cried.
I gotta show you. I was like,
cried.
oh.
But then even, and this is the part that I actually really enjoy about Serena is like, so like back in the day when people love her so much that it doesn't matter what really happens on the court. If it doesn't go Serena's way, they're mad about it, right?
Yep.
So like when Serena lost to Naomi Osaka and they booed her or whatever, she grabbed the mic and was like, enough.
Yep.
Enough, stop. Yeah. And there was the same thing with that point. Do you see that? When the point, and then it was legit like an absolute smidge. The true competitor, like, obviously you have to go and say like, no, I protest that. That was out or whatever. And it was like a smidge. And everyone starts booing and she's like, nope.
That's tennis. That's
rules. Tennis. Let's cool down here a little bit. And I think she said that's like, I don't know the exact words that she mumbled, but like, that's not fair or something, because you think about it, that is another person.
That's right.
Playing against Serena Williams is hard enough.
Exactly.
That is going to be a memory for her for the rest of her life. I was the one that beat out Serena in her very last game in front of 29,000 people. She probably like wanted to do it, but also didn't want to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, what a hard position to be put in. So then I was like, when she had clearly the love and the support and everything from the crowd and everything going on around her, but then still was like, no, like, let's actually just like respect the game here. Like, cool down. Enough. You know?
Yeah. And also her messaging too, you know, I think they asked like, what are you going to do after this? And so they have their, I don't know if it's called the Serena Williams Foundation, but she has a business that supports athletes. And she also in that said, we support women and men. And like, I don't care who you are, what you are, where you're from.
Yep.
That's who we support.
Yep. We support
dreams.
Humans.
Yeah.
Human beings with a brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a phenomenal, like, and it's interesting because when you're thinking about this episode, because obviously there's so much going on, so much happening. And then now we have to obviously talk about Serena Williams. Like, where do you even start? What do you say? Every single person, like even with the LPGAs going on right now as well. And the question that they asked everybody was, what did Serena mean to you in the LPGA?
Yeah.
So you got Lydia Ko going, what could I possibly say that's enough?
Yeah.
Like, what
Gatorade changing their logo to the S instead of the G, and that's what I mean. It's exactly to your point, across sports. She's been impactful far beyond even what she would comprehend too. Right?
Oh,
it's just like it is all worldly reaching.
Yeah. And like in the movie, you're not just going to change tennis, you're going to change the world. And she did.
Yep.
And she did.
And it was cool too when in some of her speeches where she said, I'm not Serena without Venus.
Oh my lordy. I
know.
I couldn't even imagine how emotional she's being, but she's got so much stuff going on all the time. And I think you're bang on in that she doesn't even know.
Yeah.
But
how could you, right? But
she's sitting there taking all that stuff in, and she's like, well, I wouldn't be here without her. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then the cool part is that they got to play doubles together.
Yeah. Oh.
Right? And so they might do that. That might be where we see Serena Williams moving forward, is just in whatever tournaments they want to play in as a doubles team.
And there was talking about audience and notoriety and all those different things. There was a college football night or something, and I can't remember, that was on ESPN, and they flipped it. So the first ever doubles women's match was played on ESPN prime time over anything else.
Very cool.
And it was Venus and Serena Williams. Like the list, like when you even just look at this, I just wrote out real quick, like 39 Grand Slam titles, 23 singles titles, 14 doubles, and 2 mixed doubles titles. That's like, couldn't be more bare bones of what she's actually accomplished and achieved. Yeah. And not only that, like the conversation, like I remember, I told this story too about like how when girls go through training and they start to develop muscles and stuff, it's actually a lot harder than people think, because guys are grown up to think, okay, well, I'm going to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm going to be big. I want big muscles. Yeah. Whereas there is a little bit of an identity thing when women start to build muscle and get bulky. Oh, are men going to like me? If I'm too bulky,
now they look masculine.
Now they look masculine.
No, she just looks like a woman with muscle.
That's right. She's just a strong woman. Yeah. So but like, it is interesting to see how that is an actual, like it 100% is. No one can tell. And you know what I mean? And when the first time I saw the picture of Serena, like not flexing, but she was cheering, but in the cheer, like
you can see guns
like
out.
Popeye gun right there. And I was like, oh, okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to have muscle. It's okay to be aggressive. It's okay. So I even just think about from the perspective of like, it's okay to be competitive. Like she has essentially taken an entire generation of children and said like, it's okay. But even on top of that, when she spoke her mind and defended herself against that umpire. And here's the thing, that's when you're competitive in athletics, you do go through situations where there is a double standard when it comes to officiating. And I've lived it, I've experienced it, so I can talk about it. It's my own perspective. I'm not just saying this, but like I've heard guys like say some really, really mean things.
Yep.
And then, it's just being a man.
Yep.
And then you get out there and it's like, F you. And they're like, excuse me?
Yep.
And so when she did that to the umpire of like, no, you owe me, you know that, and you know, and put that on her shoulders. And she kind of got in a little bit of shit over that too, a little bit. I was like, absolutely not. Stand up. And so for me, like thinking about how watching her has impacted me, not only as a person and an athlete, I'm like, oh my God, this woman just being unapologetically Serena has changed the way women feel in sport.
Yep. Could not agree with that more. I think it's like, is that the shots?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. The
T.O.
shots after the first period of this Canada-US game are 5-2. What?
I'm telling you, they're battling it out in between the blue lines. It's just an absolute WWE brawl in between the blue lines. But that's what this tournament is. So just so for everybody, our quick timeout between our heart-to-heart to Serena is the puck is about to drop in the second period of the gold medal game for the Women's Worlds. And shots combined were less than 10 in the first period. So we are in for a dog fight, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, no, what I was going to say on the unapologetically, because that is, we've seen that in other sports, right? We've seen it a lot in tennis, but we've seen it through gymnastics. We saw it even in hockey, where Hillary Knight, was pretty vocal, and she also has done a spread in what magazine of herself and building that messaging that you can look however you look as an athlete.
Right.
Big muscles, little muscles, don't care.
Yeah.
I also saw there was something on Instagram where she was an Italian athlete and she went to, I'm going to call it something like the Commonwealth Games. It wasn't. Mm-hmm. And she cleaned up. She won like 8 different medals and she was an artistic swimmer. And she took a picture on the beach in a bikini with all of her medals. And then she was posting on social media because the fact that, you get as a strong athletic woman in a bikini, everything became sexualized about her.
Oh.
Right. And she's like, I'm trying to celebrate my athletic achievements. And this is the garbage that I have to put up with. And it's all of these women combined who are having to go through experiences like that with their own bodies and being a professional athlete that will change the landscape of athletics for all future women. So sucks that you got to go. It sucks.
It sucks. Yeah, that's right. It sucks.
It's bullshit and it's
transition's always hard, right? Yeah. But it's like, oh my God, enough is enough. It would be nice because I always think like, it's hard because you want like, if it was done in a positive way.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
Then if it's done in a positive way of like, look at her, holy God.
Yeah.
Then it's like, yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. She trains 7 days a week. She doesn't eat a piece of cake probably. Mm-hmm. She has no fun in her diet whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Works like an animal. Yeah. She deserves to look that way. Yeah. Damn right she does.
I know.
Good for you. Yep. But it generally 9 times out of 10 goes the other way.
Yeah, I know. You and I are having to do fridge purges to get rid of all the bad stuff in our fridges. And meanwhile, you've got these beast mode women who are just crushing their games.
Ooh, that's right.
We're getting tight in this basketball game.
Don't you dare say that. It's just Chicago taking a little bit of a breather here. So I have a quote here from Naomi Osaka, which is interesting that we just talked about a lot of the things that we just did, and I wanted to save it for after, because her quote is, I think I'm a product of what she's done.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here without Serena, Venus, and her whole family. I'm like very thankful for her. But
it's
this woman who was the highest paid female athlete
last year,
and I think the year before too.
Yeah.
Like we're talking, she's making bank, she's playing high level, she is a businesswoman on top of being an athlete, and she says yesterday, I am a product of her. Yep. Wow.
Yeah. And that's why it is so, that's why this podcast exists. That's why all of these women, when we look at the game that's on right now in the PWHPA, it is for that. It is so that there are a lot of women. Serena Williams is the leader of that. Mm-hmm. And thankfully, because she has done it with such grace, that now there's a generation of women who are feeling empowered to do the same things.
That's right.
And that's going to be incredibly impactful, right? Like where it doesn't matter what sport you look at, women have a voice and they're using it.
Yeah.
So huge.
Yeah. I think it's these next couple of years for women's athletics is going to be very, very cool, especially with, you know, with us rocking this podcast and being up to date with a lot of different things. And we've really, really appreciated, you know, the growth of the following and the engagement and everything. It's been so fun.
Yeah.
And even places like the sports bra, like the sports bra is going nowhere.
Yeah.
It is there to stay. It is now an integral part of that community. And like, there are people that want to watch, want to grow it. And the story of Serena Williams should be everywhere.
Yeah.
The story of all these women, like Hillary Knight's accomplishments. Could you imagine if that happened on the male side? You wouldn't be able to turn on a TV without hearing about it. Like Hillary Knight should be everywhere.
Yeah,
you know, WNBA playoffs, selling out arenas all over the place. Like Connecticut has got a huge fan base, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of momentum.
It's so cool. So it's like, man, like, yeah, anybody watching anything, reach out to us and let us know, because we're watching it too and we want to hang out.
Yeah, legit. I know we need the sports bra just to multiply. It's not going anywhere, but we need more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like,
we need,
sending it into the, let's go. Sports bra to Peg City.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, we're doing it. You know we're doing it. Come on.
The wish list is long.
Yeah, you betcha. So if today was anything, I hope it was very awesome in the sense of like, there is so much amazing things going on right now, and there is zero lack of women's sports on TV. Can't wait to see how this World Game ends up. This is going to be unreal.
Exactly.
Chicago's just got a couple more minutes here that they gotta get going a little bit more. And then we've got the Aces and the Storm. Obviously, Sue Bird continuing on with her incredible retirement tour. There's a lot of amazing things. But Cowie, in true Beauties fashion, final words.
Final words on this one is we are grateful for all of you. We don't do it enough, but we thank you for being here. We thank you for your engagement. You can find us on Instagram at Beauty Sports Talk. Same thing on TikTok at _Beauty Sports on Twitter. We do have a voicemail, speakpipe.com/beautysports. You can find Addie and I on social media too if you'd rather engage that way. We appreciate you. A rate and review goes a hell of a long way. So thank you for engaging with us. Thank you for sitting here with me for 47 minutes and 12 seconds, buddy. I appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you all, and we will see you next week.